Deep in the Balkan mountains, where pines clash with fog, and day hides behind the silence of the guns, the Gorgupetre bridge stood tall over a deep valley, as if linking two worlds that could only be united by fire and iron. The bridge, built in the Austrian style in ancient times, had now become a strategic artery for the German army, which used it to transport supplies and soldiers between the south and the north, like an umbilical cord feeding a cold, merciless occupation. It was the winter of 1943. The mountains were filled with rebels, and snow covered everything except the hearts that burned with fire. Amidst this scene, the order came from the Yugoslav resistance leadership: the Gorgupetre bridge must be bombed. At 4 in the morning. The division consisted of 4 men and 1 woman, Nadezhda, a former engineer, with the coldness of Belgrade and the pride of someone who fears nothing, Marko, a peasant who became a fighter after his village was burned. Danilo, a young man in his 20s, but a master of explosives, Stojan, a silent old man who only spoke when he killed, Milan, the commander, with one eye and an unwavering gaze. They met in a stone hut at the foot of the mountain, reviewing the plan and drinking black tea from an old kettle as if they were on the threshold of life and death. The crossing will be at 3. We only have an hour to work. Any mistake, and the bridge remains, and we melt into the snow as if we never existed. Milan said, then opened a worn map and placed it on the table. His hand trembled slightly, but his voice was steady. At 2:30 a.m., the mission began. They walked in single file, like ghosts, their only sounds heavy with their breaths. Above them, the stars watched; below them, the abyss mocked. At the bridge, they dispersed. Nadezhda and Danilo Talia planted the explosives beneath the supports. Marko and Stoyan watched the guards from the shadows. Milan stood at the top, holding a rifle in unspoken anxiety. We only need 5 minutes, Nadezhda whispered, placing the first block of TNT. But time, that night, was slower than the heart of a lover on the brink of farewell. Suddenly, a German rifle crackled in the distance. A bullet pierced Marko's shoulder, and he fell. The guards mobilized, and the lights lit up. Detonate now! Milan shouted, but Danilo wasn't finished yet. 3 seconds. Danilo replied, his hand trembling. At that moment, Stoyan raised his rifle, killed the guard who had fired, then crept toward Marko and slowly pulled him out.